Hello all, it's me, Captain Clickbait. That's right, I'm Michael here at Sweet Home Maricopa, and Captain Clickbait is one of those names that it might just stick. We'll see. All right, so I've had some really rough notes I'm going to go over. As you can tell, this is a longer than normal segment, and I may be doing these regularly now. The beauty of this platform is, let's see if I can remember what I wrote down. The beauty of this platform, YouTube or other platforms like it, is that most of you watching this video will not watch it all the way to the end. Some of you are clicking off right now or have already clicked away. That's just the fact. The majority, more than half, most of you watching this right now will not watch it all the way to the end. And why do I say that's a beautiful thing? Well, if I want to tell a different message to my most loyal fans or my most loyal subscribers, then I'll save it for the end. Like, I can have multiple messages. I could just, whatever clickbait that gets people's attention, say something, try and keep their attention. But I could save a special message for those of you who, for one reason or another, just want to know what I'm talking about. All right. I have a Doug TeNapel news, but I'm saving that for the end as well. So you could fast forward there if you don't want to hear anything else I have to say and try and find me talking about Doug TeNapel. Good luck. But I do have Doug TeNapel news. That's why I put it in the title. All right, so I got three things I'm going to cover as quickly as possible. Try not to belabor this, drag it out. See, I'm already dragging it out. Three things I want to cover. I'm going to go over the list of names. In a previous video, I asked people for suggestions, and as my subscribers have doubled in the last 24 hours, more suggestions have been made. This is just the original. This is before the explosion. I just got like 7 or 8 names here. Some of them I've already used in some of the videos. One I used at the beginning of this one. Go over the list of names real quick. Number 2, I want to talk about how to properly view YouTube, this platform, YouTube in general, as the monster that it is. And the third thing I want to cover, I just want to give you behind the scenes or the background of the specific strategies that I've used and timing of things that have led to whatever subscriber count I have right now. Like, it's a rapid growth, and there are reasons for it. Some that I had something to do with and some that I didn't. And I just want to go over that real quickly. All right. So here's the list of names. So the top one, this is not in chronological order. I just went through the comments and looked for them. I didn't look at who said what first. But the Hollywood Patriot, and all of these have some merit. Maybe not all of them, but the Hollywood Patriot, yeah, I mean, rather than the Hollywood guy, which is kind of the default that I use. I've been working in Hollywood. Hi, I'm Michael, the Hollywood guy behind enemy lines, whatever. That's kind of the default thing I've been using, but the Hollywood Patriot, I like that. Oh, that's not the one I used. I used that did I use that? I think I used it in a previous video. The one I used today was Captain Clickbait. Sorry about that. Yes. Captain Clickbait. I used a very clickbaity title on this. I mean, anytime you put Doug TeNapel's name in the subject, in the title, that's just pure clickbait. Because behind the scenes, which I'll talk about later, if you go and look at keywords that people look up to find your video, Doug TeNapel is he's like the number 1 on that list of searches. I'll talk more about that in a minute. So Captain Clickbait. Then somebody said, how about everything Mike Honcho? Doesn't really have a flow, but that same guy said, how about the Dirk Diggler show? Yeah, I won't be using either of those. Sorry. Somebody recommended Michael Wood as opposed to Hollywood. I do like that. I'd like to see that up on the mountain. Michael Wood. Michael to the Point. That's actually a good title of a YouTube channel in general. Michael to the Point. Secret Agent Man. More generic, but yeah, as I am behind the scenes in Hollywood as a secret agent. This one I really like, Michael the Archangel. Because the word angel means messenger anyway. So here on YouTube, I am an angel. I am a messenger. And Michael being the Archangel, I've always... as a memory aid to people, I say, if you want to try and remember my name, you see my face, it's hard to remember names. I'm Michael. There's a billion Michaels. Just when you look at me, think of Michael the Archangel. And I get a laugh. Okay, so Maricopa Mike. or Maricopa Michael. Those are two separate suggestions, and I think I used that one in a previous video today. It's the alliteration, right? The poetic. It's memorable. Maricopa Mike, shorter is better, but Maricopa Michael, because that's the name on my birth certificate, as my wife reminds me. I don't go by Mike. I don't go by Mike, but I will. I have another YouTube channel I'm starting that's called Jeff and Mike. Videos will be up there soon, and I've bit the bullet because Jeff and Mike, it's two short names and it rolls off the tongue, and so I will bite the bullet and go by Mike, Maricopa Mike or Maricopa Michael. And then the one I started the day with, and this is the first suggestion that was given. I've modified it slightly. I put my name in there, but this is Michael, your Arizona. I can't even read my own writing. This is Michael, your Arizona audit archangel, coming to you from Sweet Home Maricopa. I like that. It's down to, well, there's 4 of them that I like. The Hollywood Patriot, Captain Clickbait, Maricopa Michael, and your Arizona audit archangel. All right, so there's the list. Second thing I want to talk to you about is how to properly view YouTube. All right, this is a thought experiment, all right? Think of YouTube, because a lot of people are like, free speech, I can't believe they're canceling and deleting everybody. The fact is, my channel belongs to YouTube. I'm a product, right? You are consuming a YouTube product. You click that button to agree to whatever, right? They own it, okay? And we get to use it and do what we want with it, and sometimes they get rid of it. So think of this YouTube channel, for example, or Doug or Quentin or Busy or CanCon, who's gone, or Liz Harris, who's gone. Like, think of those as pop-up street corner churches in a communist country, right? You show up, you live in a communist country, and you show up, and you're a believer, and you have a message you want to spread, and you have the people that already know you that show up, and you get up there on the street corner, and you start preaching. You start giving your message. You start broadcasting in the public square, and people start gathering, and some of them hate you and shout at you, and most of them stand and listen, and they might even tell others. This pop-up church keeps happening, and you should come. And then the crowd grows each weekend or whatever, like a pop-up church in a communist country. And as long as you're saying things that communist country doesn't disagree with, they'll, the corner belongs to them, right? Communism, they own everything. So that corner belongs to the communist country, and they'll let you speak as long as you don't speak directly against the communist country or, whatever, sedition or whatever. And then if you cross a line or somebody in that crowd reports it to the Gestapo, they can come down and shut you down. They could even come with jackboots and apprehend people and throw them into prison, or the cancellation, right? Like, you can't come back. Doug's come back 3 times. I bet he's going to come back again. They've all come back, and maybe they're back now. They've just named it something else. How are we going to find them? So go find another street corner, right? That's what coming back is. Find another street corner in another corner of the communist country. So this is a pop-up church in a communist country. YouTube, the analogy being YouTube. If you say things that they don't like and somebody reports you, whatever. So that's how you should look at YouTube. And you can complain, call it free speech, censorship. It's communism. They can do what they want. All right. I'm putting it out there. I don't know. I don't know if YouTube, I'll get reported by, you said YouTube was communist. Whatever. I said it's a private, I was using an analogy, okay? It's a private business that can do what it wants with its own product, and I am its product. But, okay, this is a perfect place for an aside. I have a huge project that I'm working on. If all my channels, I've got email accounts that go back almost 20 years, Gmail accounts that belong to Google, which is YouTube. And if they deleted all of that, it doesn't matter, because I've got a huge project that I'm working on that's way more important than this, and I'm using this to bring people's attention to that project. And so it's too late. You're already here. You've already, subscribed to my other channel. I'm building a locals. Locals, I think, is the best alternate place for me to go. And I'm building a Patreon. All right. What I'm working on is pretty big big, and I'm glad you're here, and I want to tell you all about it. In fact, I want you to own a piece of it. All right. All right. So now, finally, of the three things, I will get to the teases earlier at the very end, but the third thing, I want to talk about the strategy and timing. So I knew I wanted to build a YouTube channel focused on the Arizona audit. I'm like, Maricopa County? Oh my gosh, it's a calling. Like, it's, here's a little aside. I don't think God, new sentence. I'm not going to finish that sentence. New sentence. God is in control. There are no coincidences. There are no mistakes. There are no accidents. There are horrible things that happen, but God is in control. Like Job, okay? Job. Just think of Job. We don't always understand why these horrible things happen. Why did the innocent suffer? If you think this life is all there is, then there's no explanation for suffering. Right? That's a truncated syllogism. You are supposed to come to your own conclusion of what I just said. Now, actually, I was going to do this in a separate video, but I'll do it real quick right here. Maybe I'll cover it larger in another video. The Israelites were judged, right? They sacrificed their children to Molech. And God judged them. God sent them into exile into a foreign nation. All right, so here in the United States of America, we've been legally sacrificing our children since 1973, legally. And we are being judged. So rather than, in the case of the Israelites, the elites of the nation, the heart of Israel is extricated from their land and sent to live in these other nations. Here in our system of government, it's not us being sent to serve under another leader. It's a new leader coming in, right? It's a new leader coming in. Instead of us going to the other leader as Israelites, it's the judgment is God brings another leader into to judge and expose. I mean, when those guys went to Babylon, the Israelites, their eyes were open. They're like, oh my gosh, we were not serving our God, and these are the consequences, and this is what happens. And now our eyes are opening. We are being judged, like this horrible thing's happening because of the administration shift. You get what I'm saying? So, but not being coincidences, what's happening in Maricopa County, what's the capital of Arizona? Phoenix. It's a city, but it's a thing. What is a phoenix? It's something rising from the ashes, right? Think of the audit. Phoenix is in Maricopa County, right? That the healing, the rising, that we are that phoenix, right? It rising from, we are being judged. America's being judged. It's not going to be judged. It's being judged right now. We are suffering and falling apart. It's not something that's going to happen later. It's the CCP has infiltrated us, right? It's like, if you read all the headlines, we are suffering judgment, right? We are, all right, I'm not going to go off on that tangent, but God picked Phoenix, right? That the Israelites returned and rebuilt, right? It was a temporary, right? It was devastating, and I believe there is devastation coming. I don't think this is all going to be happy, oh, we found the truth, now let's all agree. No. There will be those that resist the truth to the bitter end. So when I'm all positive, God is in control. God was in control of Israel being sent into exile, etc., and bringing them back. And I think we're at the moment of return. We're at the beginning. Okay, that was an aside. All right, so now my strategy. My strategy is I've got this incredible project that I've been working on. I'm like, I need more Christians to hear this, because it's a crossover story. You think the Passion of the Christ was huge, right? The Passion of the Christ was a crossover story. It's not just Christians, but the secular world. Like, here's this incredibly well-made film about this historic event. And it was the highest grossing R-rated film in history at the time. And why didn't they keep making those kinds of movies? Well, I've got a project that's like that it's the Christians will own it. It's about the first Christian nation. And I'm like, okay, how do I get more Christians out there? How do I get their attention to what I'm working on? right? That's my ulterior motive, straightforward why I'm doing this. And so it's all been a strategy. I'm like, I'm going to start a YouTube channel focused on the most important thing going on in America right now, the Arizona audit. I have a natural connection to it. I was born in Phoenix, Arizona. I care about these things passionately, right? I'm on the correct side of history in these things. And there's this huge swath of people out there on YouTube. I'm like, oh my gosh, Doug DeNaples and Busy and all these people that are talking about it. Well, I'm going to dive right in. I was going to try and start my channel right before the end of the counting, and I didn't make it. I started right after the counting ended, but the forensic inspections were still going on. So when I said, all right, I'm just going to launch the day I launched. So there's certain strategy, but then there are things that I couldn't have foreseen that happened that are also beneficial. When I started my channel, it was the day the Media Matters hit piece came out on all the people that I've been watching and all the people I wanted to dive into this network and just become a part of it and just be help all boats rise. And they got struck the day I launched my channel. So what ended up happening was, about the fourth or fifth video I posted, I put in the title, the purge is here, and I put Sandy Beige 42, and I might have linked to Out of the Darkness again, like his backup channel that was still there. That video started spiking. All my other videos were getting like 8 views and 10 views and 20, and I'd be happy when I'd get 34 views, and that one started spiking. It was getting hundreds of views. I'm like, what is going on? And I look behind the veil and look at the algorithms and the mechanics of the YouTube, and it's like word search. This guy got struck. Everybody's looking for Out of the Darkness. People are searching for Out of the Darkness, and they were finding my video. Plus, it was a picture of Quentin as the thumbnail. And I'm like, oh, okay, this is how you find the audience. It's just the timing of it. I launch my channel, they get struck, and everybody's searching, and my numbers start spiking. And then there was another spike when just a couple days ago, when Liz Harris's final channel got struck. I could show you. I took a screenshot of it. When her channel got struck, I had done a video talking about Liz Harris. And people started searching for Liz Harris, and my numbers started spiking because I didn't know she had got her final channel had gotten struck. It was like, you can look and you can see people were watching that video. It had been out a while. People were watching it, and then suddenly the numbers spike. It's because her final channel, people were searching. Like, I had subscribed to her. Where'd she go? They search, and then they find and watch my videos, and it's like, then they subscribe. This guy's talking about these other channels, and it's just so. My strategy is I put Doug DeNaples because it's the number one search. Number one thing people have been searching for because he had the biggest channel. I put Out of the Darkness because that's like the third most searched for, as Arizona audit as the second most searched for term. So you see me putting those terms. It's a strategy. I'm putting those terms so that people searching will find it. Normally YouTube, if you have a popular video, they'll recommend it. I have another channel where you every now and then, they're recommending it and it's getting views because YouTube's recommending it. YouTube recommends these a little bit, but I get way more views than that, and then way more views from keyword searches than from YouTube recommending, which is a strategy. It's like, you guys are a part of this process. You guys, I want to find them. Here's a guy talking about it. Subscribe. We're all on the same page, and I'll point you back to them if they show up again. Right? It's organic. So it's like the timing, strategy plus timing. Timing sometimes is totally out of your control. One other strategy I did is one of the first people I was watching was Vlad. And he was recommended to me in my feed by YouTube. I'm like, Vlad, this guy's great. And in one of his first videos I watched, he said, hey, I'm starting a news network and email me. And I'm like, hey, I'm a Emmy award-winning TV producer and I'm building a network. I mean, that's part of the plans. And I'm like, hey, maybe we can network together. And he had mentioned his email, and I just emailed him and said, hey, if I know you're at the beginning of your process, and if there's anything we could collaborate on, let's do it. And so it just started a relationship with him. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe he'll because he's one that was mentioning other YouTubers. I'm like, oh, maybe he'll mention me. And he had said I will give you a shout out video. And he had said it like a week or so ago, early on, and I'm like, he didn't get to it. Oh well. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he does or doesn't. And then my numbers had spiked right after that Liz Harris spike. My numbers had spiked, and then he mentions me, and it's an exponential spike, like right on the heels of that. So it makes me nervous. There's really bizarre stuff happening when you watch things go on. I'm going to do a video tomorrow about somebody who commented in the comment section, and I was reading it. I'm like, oh, it's struck through. That's weird. I didn't know you could do that when you type in. About half of her message in the middle was struck through, and it was a bunch of spiritual, like, encouragement stuff. And I read through it. I was like, I don't know why she struck through this and posted it. And then I checked back later, and she goes, oh my gosh, I was reading it, and it was struck through. I hope you were able to read it. It was a weird thing. And then I went and checked, and all that struck through portion, the majority of it was gone. And she was like, there's something going on behind the scenes. It's like, I'll read some of it, but my channel's growing quickly, so powers that be that don't like it, maybe some guy sitting in a room in China or whatever, assigned to my, if he gets to this level, you got to strike him. I don't have any strikes yet. All right, I've babbled long enough, talked to you a little bit about strategy, actual strategy. If you guys are starting a YouTube channel, do the same thing. Put Doug TeNapel in your title, and people will find you. If they find you interesting, they'll subscribe to you. It's organic. I use Arizona Audit all the time because that's the focus. Maricopa, Sweet Home Maricopa. All right, so the Doug TeNapel news, for those of you who have lasted this long, his son's channel is still up. Doug TeNapel's son has a channel. It's still up. I'll put the link in the description. Doug TeNapel's son has, 8 to 10,000 views, or subs by this time. It's still up. He doesn't post very often, but he does. And then the last thing, those of you who've lasted this far, oh my gosh, it's 21 minutes. My son has a basketball game right now. I got to go into it. So let me just finish with this. Most of you watching this right now, are Christians. God is in control. God has a plan. So I've got this huge, amazing project, and miracles have been happening in my life, and I mention them in my other YouTube channel. You just have to go and search. Irrefutable miracles. By the definite, it's like I know I'm on a path that is planned. Like providentially, and this is a part of it. You even watching this is a part of that providential plan. So all I ask is to pray. Pray for me. I am suffering financially immensely, but I have a plan. I'm going to start a Patreon, so anybody out there that wants to, I don't have it yet, but and then there's a lot of stuff going on in the works that I can't talk about, but keep me in your prayers, please. Is that the last thing I wanted to say? Let's see. Final thing. You who are still watching. I know I say subscribe and share and like and click the like button and comment and notification bell, but you who are still watching right now, go through my videos, a video you've watched, and pick one and send it to someone that you don't know if they even watch YouTube. Think of somebody a Christian, find a Christian brother or sister and say, check this out, what this guy's talking about. And just send it. There, that's it. Love you guys. Thank you for watching all the way. I know this is the small group. There's, I can tell there's a drop off. You can see behind the scenes, like how many people watch it halfway and how it drops off. So this is Gideon's Army, right? Gideon's Army. Also, go subscribe at Sovereign Art Sock. That link is also in the description below. Gideon's Army will gather over there. God is in control.